Hello and welcome to One Card Wonder Wednesday for June 27th, 2018. Today we're going to make this adorable coffee cup card. It could be used just as a friendship card. You could do different sayings in the cup, but for this card I used happiness is a cup of coffee shared with a friend. I used the Coffee Cafe set, which comes with 16 different stamps, which I think are just adorable. I love the little whipped cream. We'll make some cards eventually with that, with the little straw inside. There is a set of framelits that go with it as well, the coffee cup framelits, and there are 13 in that set. And I used one of them today, or two of them, to cut out the coffee cup and the lid. And I also used one of the circle stitched framelits, which gave the circle that little stitch around the edge, and also one of the layering scalloped circles for the vellum scallop circle that is on here. So I did use a couple of different things with the Big Shot there for this card, but I've already cut those pieces, so we won't be doing that in the video today. The first thing we're going to do is use some of the soft seafoam ink, which is also the base color for the card. It's just the lightest of green colors that you can get, I think. And I used a piece of Wood Textures DSP in the white wood. And I used a stamp from Petal Palette, this leaf stamp, just to make a background, a little bit of a background on the white wood. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to, you know, be in any particular order. I just did about 3 on the piece of Wood Texture DSP. And that's done. We're done with that color ink. We can set that stamp aside as well. I also, after I did this, I went ahead and I've got all my pieces here. I cut another small piece of DSP that goes behind the coffee cup of the Wood Texture DSP, and I just did it in a darker color just for some contrast. So the first thing we'll do is we will adhere this layering piece down. And usually, like I said, I'll do like 2 sides full and then just a little bit on one of the other side, if I can keep a hold of my paper, on the other side, just because you don't need to put so much adhesive on that you're just wasting your adhesive, because that's absolutely silly to do. Then I took a piece, it's about, let me measure it real quick. Yeah, about 2 1/4. That's what I thought. 2 1/4 by 3 3/4 inch piece of So Saffron from the Subtle 6x6 Designer Series paper. This is one of the highlights that I'm doing in this card as well. Those are the main colors that I used are from this. So the soft seafoam green is one of the Subtle's colors. These are all from the Subtle's Designer Series paper, these 3 here. So I chose to use the polka dot side, and I'm just gonna tack down the 2 sides in the middle, and then I'm just gonna bring it all the way over to the edge of the card on this side. And I'm gonna just quickly check to make sure that I am in the camera view, and I am, thank goodness. And then I took this other piece that I measured about 1 3/4 inch wide by about 3 1/4 inch. And I'm not gonna go all the way to the edge of the card with this one. I'm just gonna go to the edge of the Wood Texture DSP. But instead of using the polka dot side, I'm just gonna use the stripe side just for a little bit of contrast. And then I wanted to take a piece of the polka dot ribbon. And this is the polka dot twill ribbon, and it's really cute in the Whisper White color. And I'm just gonna take a little bit of adhesive and just go across here. And I'm just gonna stick my ribbon right on there. And it just adds just a little bit of texture to the card right there. It doesn't have to be perfect. If you have a little bit of extra ink there, just like I did, just rub it off, or hopefully you'll make your little ribbon piece a little longer. That could help too, because apparently on this card I did go all the way to the edge with the ribbon, but this one I didn't. doesn't matter. And then we're going to just adhere down the wood texture DSP, the contrasting color, just kind of randomly put, I mean, I say randomly, but it's just going to go in this general area. And then we're going to have our circle, which I must have did this just a little, I must have adhered my circle the first time on the first card when I did it before I did the wood texture DSP. So on this one, my circle is going to be covered, or my DSP is going to be covered on this side, the wood texture. But that's okay, it's still going to be adorable. And then I'm just going to use a tiny bit to adhere the vellum, but I'm not going to put any up here because that's going to be more visible, so you don't really want your adhesive to show through so much on there. So then I'm going to take the soft suede stamp, or soft suede ink, sorry, and we're going to stamp the happiness is a cup of coffee shared with a friend in the soft suede. On the original card I used Memento, but I kind of think I want the soft suede color just because it will blend just a little bit better with the colors that we have here, if that makes sense. It doesn't look a lot different from the first card, but it's just a little bit, just because it's the same color as the outline of the card. So then I'm going to take this and I'm going to put one of my favorites, as we know, some Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of it. And once we get those on, we're going to stick the cup on, and then we will put the lid on the cup using a little bit of Tombow glue, a little bit of Tombow glue. So you can leave the cup or the lid plain like this when you just cut it out, or you can stamp the lid and then cut it out with the framelits. This one will do the lid that I have stamped, and I'm just going to put a little bit of Tombow glue right across the top edge here, just enough to hold this lid on. Slide it on there and then just let it set for a few minutes and it'll be dry. It doesn't take long. The nice thing about using the Tombow is you can slide just a little bit around if you don't have it exactly where you want it. And the last thing I did, well, not the last thing, sorry, almost the last thing I did for this card was I took a small bit of twine and I just wrapped it around my fingers a few times. And then I just cut off a piece, wrapped it around the center a couple of times, and then leave it a little loose piece around the center. Take your end piece, thread it through, just pull it tight to tie it. You can cut that off so it's about the same length as what your loops are. Get that other thread out of the way. And then just take that all those little loops and just move them around in different directions. So it's not really a bow, but it's just a little conglomerate of ribbons. And then stick it onto a glue dot, peel it off. Make sure your glue dot is not too big, kind of fold it over so it fits underneath the knot part, because you don't want your card sticking to the envelope when you put it in the envelope. And I just adhered that on. And the last step would be to add a couple of little pearls and rhinestones. And I just added like one of the larger pearls and one of the smaller pearls, and you can just randomly place them. They don't have to be in any particular order or any particular space. And then we'll take one of the larger rhinestones and stick it over there. And there you have it. This week's One Card Wonder Wednesday. And you can see the difference in how I adhered this one. Just a little bit different when I did the, I put my circle down, my blue polka dot circle down first on this one versus second on this one before the other piece of wood texture DSP. But those are super easy, cute little cards to make for a friend. And like I said, you could make it into a get well card, just putting a different saying on it, or whatever you want to put on it. It could be a birthday card. But I hope you enjoyed today's One Card Wonder Wednesday, and I hope you have a good week. I will see you next Wednesday. Thank you for watching.